All right, back. So might run out of space here, but I set up a platform here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna try and remove this. I know this thing is really white and the lighting is kind of tough, but I'm gonna try and shoot a flake into here and get rid of this because I can't come at it from this side because there's a hinge there. So unfortunately, this is kind of a important flake. But I'm gonna do a quick little tester flake up on the nose here just to get back in a rhythm there. There we go, that felt good. Okay. Nice, that felt good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this flake, or try. Hopefully I don't break it. I'm gonna hit it pretty darn hard. Oop, didn't quite catch it, but that's okay. I'll isolate it. Now it's really a make or break scenario, but it's all right. Cross grind. Now I'm gonna wail on this thing. Wonder if I should switch facets. No, I'm gonna stick to what I was doing. Maybe I'll go with this other. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. Oh. Alright, let's look at it. I don't know what happened. Alright, there's our flake. It climbed up the hump. It did not clean off the step from the other face, but it also did not create a new one. So, okay, I'm not totally unhappy with that. Actually, I'm not really unhappy with it at all. I would have liked for it to have gone deeper and taken more off, but this is kind of a long range shot, so I'm gonna let it be until I get closer in and where it makes more sense to attack that versus attacking it from far away and potentially just making more problems. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but you know, when you get like a hinge or something and it's in a tricky spot, I know for me, I often fixate on that, and sometimes that's the reason I'll break pieces, is I'll try and attack this hinge, or I'll create another problem trying to fix that problem long range, you know, rather than going, okay, well, I know this thing's going to get narrower, so why don't I just let it be until I get there, you know? Like, let the flake do its job once you can set up the proper platform and you're closer in, you know? I don't know, does that make sense? Yes. Okay, good. Because probably most of what I say does not make sense. Okay, so I'm not gonna bridge it like this because with my thumb I'm putting bending force. So this is something I learned from one of Marty's videos. I'm gonna pinch this and I'm gonna pull it into my hand when I strike on the back, and I'm gonna kind of support it also with my pinky. I'm not gonna pinch extremely hard here. And then we fluted it. Nice thinning flake from the bottom, and that actually took off some of the junk. Whoa, that took off the hinge I was worried about and everything. So that's cool. This other flake that I went for, the going for broke one, actually set us up for that. And all right, we made a Clovis. We're done. I'm gonna turn it off. Just kidding. Okay. Bury this in the dirt and someone will pick it up and go, wow, it's got a flute. It must be a Clovis. Oh, I see an overshot. Has to be a Clovis. I don't have an opinion on that subject, but I just find it funny. That's all. I'm actually pretty obsessed with the whole Clovis thing. Crossed my mind to maybe make one out of this, but I think I should make something different. And this stuff's pretty brittle. I don't know, we'll see how it looks when we get closer in and a little thinner. It'll be clunky, whatever it is. But clunky is better than too thin for me right now, because too thin has been
problem in my napping, and changing my habits has been really challenging. But I recognized that the way in which I was thinning was not conducive to making nice pieces, and ultimately, you know, I wasn't really. I teach survival, so I use some of this stuff. Like, this would be horrible toolstone, but you know, I teach some classes on making, you know, and using stone tools. Now, not like extremely complex, but you know, making Buren flakes and saws and scrapers and stuff like that. You know, the basic stuff, but also the very useful stuff. A little bit of blade core. No means am I great at it, but that was nice. There was a little step right there, so we got under that. It's always nice when you get rid of a bit of a problem. And so, you know, for my you know, I've been wanting to make a knife, and I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it out of raw chert, and I have most likely I'll make it out of Georgetown. Some of Curtis Smith's raw Georgetown, unless I have, you know, one of my big pieces of Pedernales or Kaolin or Kaolin, because that stuff's really tough and pretty, but I don't know, that stuff's hard to work for me, at least. I haven't worked it really with copper yet, so I'm excited to, you know, get better with this so I can actually feel like I'm confident enough to hit that. Okay, so that flake broke, and you can see here's our little zone. Let's see if I can get you guys to see this here. Okay, all right, so we had this little hump there, and that flake just was a really nice little flake. I went into here. You can see there's a little hole there from some fossils, but all in all, I'm really happy with that flake, and it looks nice, and I'm sure I'll cover it up, but that was a good flake. That was a good flake, yeah. It's gonna thin a little bit, but it's not really destroying. And I didn't lose a whole bunch of width. Okay, now I sent another flake into that one. So now they met, and that's really nice. I'm happy with that. Cover it up, but it's still cool. Okay, I'm gonna move over a little. Maybe I'll even do a series of these. Then all of a sudden I'll be fluting it and wanting to do a Clovis, but once I get a percussion pattern on this thing. But actually I have no idea what I'm going to make out of it at this point. We'll see how thin this preform gets. And we're already at 7 minutes. I hope I haven't just been talking the whole time and I've actually done a little bit of flint napping. Okay, so this could dive. There's a little bit of a dip in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll support it at that dip, but my goal is to not have it dive in there. So I'm not going to hit it too hard. And there it went. And you can see it kind of terminated right into here with a fairly smooth termination. So now we'll move it over a little bit. That wasn't a huge one. That was kind of a blender. Take another couple other little blenders. Man, I remember years ago when I started watching YouTube videos of watching like Jim Wynn and Marty, like this must have been at least 10 years ago, and I would go out to my napping pit and I'd just like tap, you know, because they were doing so much work on the edges. I would just be like, oh, I just need to trim the edges, and I'd end up with like almost nothing. But that was like one of the biggest things I learned was like how boring it was to watch most of the time, because it's just a whole bunch of trimming and blending. Now once you get better at flint napping, you know, it gets a lot better, and Jim did a really good job of editing a lot of that stuff out. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty good flake. Hopefully it goes to the center. So it didn't quite, that went basically to the center right there. Then I hit next to it again. Hopefully it doesn't step out. And it did, but it's close to the edge where it stepped out, so it's not the end of the world. I just didn't grind it again, but I could probably get under that. I don't know if I'm going to attack it right now though. There we go. Got under it. Okay. So we got this hump on this opposite side here, and that's something that would be good to take care of right now. So I'm going to doctor up these flakes we've already taken.